President's advisor Yermuhamed Yertesbayev said on Friday WikiLeaks owners must provide evidence and declassify their sources. Otherwise, the released information can be seen as nonsense and slander, punishable by the law.
Any mass media that publishes materials in spite of laws must take all the responsibility for what it does. It stops being a mass media and becomes a tool of a political struggle, blackmail and influence. This is when journalists turn into information gangsters. This is when they will have to ask themselves the question of what happened to them. Nazarbayev's political advisor also commented on the results of the OSCE summit in Astana. He seems to be unshaken by the fact that some, if not most, participants of the Astana summit noted with regret that they didn't reach a consensus in resolving inter-ethnic and territorial conflicts in their regions. Yertesbayev believes conflicts are easy to create but take years of efforts to settle, citing the occupation of Soviet Union by Nazi Germany as an example. The official also could not resist quoting his boss. Do you really think that conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh, the Russian-Georgian struggle or the problems of Kosovo and Transnistria can be solved overnight? Kazakh president already warned that this summit will not be a summit of ready-made solutions. The very fact that presidents of Georgia and Russia attended the event despite of their conflict 2 years ago already means a lot.
In the meantime, Kazakh citizens are studying the Astana Declaration, trying to find at least some truly constructive proposals on the initiatives declared by the OSCE chair at the beginning of the year. Find out about the opinion of Kazakh opposition on the matter from the next report.
The chairman's main ace in the hole, the solution of international conflicts, failed to help Kazakhstan. The $11 million worth of humanitarian aid for Kyrgyzstan and the gratitude of the Afghan leader for the education of students didn't matter in the end. It appeared countries involved in protracted conflicts disagreed with the opinion that Kazakhstan managed to resolve all of their problems during its chairmanship. Initially, all formalities and everything related to protocol went smoothly and with constant praising. However, when real problems in the field of international politics were mentioned, like the issues with Nagorno-Karabakh and Georgia, it appeared Kazakhstan made no progress during the entire year of its chairmanship. The chairman was scolded for failing to reform the electoral and judicial systems, although way too diplomatically and softly, believes film director Bulat Atabayev. The opposition hoped that the OSCE chairmanship would allow them to freely hold rallies, pickets and referendums. Unfortunately, human dimension principles didn't fit into the strict framework set by the Kazakh government, which is vividly demonstrated by the speeches of the head of state, says the director.
Всему миру, что я демократичный, там, моя страна там впереди всей планеты.
I believe it is a sign of inferiority complex when one cries to the entire world that his country has the best possible democracy around. If the country does respect the values declared by the OSCE, it has no need to prove anything to the rest of the world. I feel this is the way the head of state makes excuses, which shows that not all is right in this country.
Оправдывает глава государства. Значит, что-то не то в этой стране.
Despite all statements of the chairman, the final declaration was nowhere near the Helsinki spirit, says politician Vladimir Kozlov. Kazakhstan managed to convince all participating member states to sign it only due to the document's universal and vague nature. The opposition says the declaration didn't revive the OSCE and even undone many years of the organization's progress.
Большому сожалению, можно сегодня констатировать, что
Unfortunately, we see that the declaration reaffirms the intentions to solve problems rather than lists the achievements of Kazakhstan on the way towards their resolution. Kazakhstan entered the OSCE chairmanship with these issues, and now it exists with the declaration of intention to solve them sometimes in the future. Despite everything, the leader of Kazakh communists believes that there is a goal that was set and reached through the summit. The summit adds to the president's significance not only at the local arena but also internationally. This is a very good for vanity, and in this sense the summit completely satisfied the vanity and prestige aspirations. We won numerous foreign awards and served as chairs of many organizations. Currently there are only two things left to gain: UN chairmanship and the Nobel Prize. This is what we will be going for next.
к чему, наверное, будем стремиться и бороться.
Observers believe the summit could have ended with a great scandal, and only behind-the-scenes meetings helped the president of the chairing country save face and convince everyone to sign the Astana Declaration. Analysts say Kazakhstan will have to pay for this artificial victory with its own resources and years of lucrative contracts. Berlusconi's public kiss cannot be cheap after all.
Another dubious achievement of the OSCE summit in Astana is the appearance of numerous internet posts ridiculing the event. The next story has more.
Kazakh internet community is actively commenting, exposing and ridiculing the OSCE summit in Astana, which became a hot potato long before its launch on December 1st. Memos feature poems, cartoons and even a flash game based on a popular warning of the authorities who advised Astana residents not to smoke on their balconies. Alisher Elikbayev, an editor of Avtor KZ website, used Twitter to express his impressions and thoughts. In contrast to the official media, the internet community calls the summit a pathetic event and a useless waste of money. Everyone should understand that internet is inhabited by the most independent community of Kazakhstan, which freely expresses its views in contrast to offline journalists. The summit was ridiculed reasonably well through social networks. Y-Vision blog platform featured a big number of entries and comments on the summit, as well as a live online broadcast of the event. This was also the first web source to have posts of Astana residents on the rushed preparations for the forum. The manager of the resource, Samson Bizmichezhny, recalls that the first reaction came from the blogger Simpatikos. He wrote about the police entering apartments, evaluating environment and checking documents. The restriction on driving in the capital was another topical issue discussed by the users. Our bloggers almost immediately posted the Euronews interview, and it was widely discussed. Some of the things said turned to one-liners and catchphrases due to some mishaps. Bloggers note that the summit was a real breakthrough for Kazakh internet, as for the first time a political event of such scale was allowed to be covered by internet publications without censorship. In the last few days, not a single website was blocked. All negative comments were left unmoderated and access to live journal remained open. Apparently, the desire to appear as a democratic state with freedom of speech overcame the habit to combating all forms of courage.
Residents of Astana are finally able to smoke at their balconies again. All prior restrictions installed for the duration of the summit have been lifted.
Tenants of Astana high-rises were advised against using their balconies for smoking or even looking in the direction of the Independence Palace, which hosted the OSCE summit. The city roads were guarded by armed police officers and military vehicles, and the sky was protected by anti-aircraft mounts. The security operation of the Defense Ministry involved over 1,000 officers and soldiers, as well as more than 100 military vehicles. Prior to the event, residents of Astana were advised to leave the city for 2 days, with December 1st and 2nd announced as extra days off. The Astana airport returned to its normal operation after the departure of all guests on Friday.
This was the end of a tough week and a tough year for Kazakhstan. Officially, the country passed the chairmanship in the OSCE to Lithuania. The analysis of the achievements and missteps is still ahead. These were all the news for this week. Join us tomorrow for more. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend and goodbye.